Hello, fellow Econauts, and welcome back to our show. I'm here with my brother Ben, the Rocketman. Hey, Ben, how are you?
Hey, fellow Econauts. Hey, Simon, how's it going? After all this red, today we talk about green.
So tell me, Ben, what are the challenges to build a greenhouse in space?
Well, there's many challenges to build a greenhouse in space, but let's begin with a few. First of all, we have a microgravity environment, so we need to find out how plants actually react and grow in space. There's many research already been done in this area. Then we need to build a controlled atmosphere in which the plants can grow. You know, they need a certain amount of humidity, they need a certain amount of CO2 and oxygen and so on in order to survive. And they need obviously radiation from the sun, which comes also with another problem: radioactive radiation from the environment. So we need to find a way to get the sunlight in without getting the radiation in. So this is a bit of a challenge, and we want to avoid to use light inside, because that would just overcomplicate or might overcomplicate the purpose, and it would not be really a greenhouse anymore if we have the light bulbs inside.
What are the key aspects of growing plants in space?
The first could be hydroponics and aeroponics. So plants, especially in space, they need nutrition-rich water to grow. That could either be done in fluid, then it would be hydroponics, or in water mist, that would be aeroponics. We need, as I already mentioned before, we need a controlled atmosphere. We need a system to control, the right mix of CO2, humidity, oxygen, and nitrogen. We need light control. Plants need light to grow, as we already mentioned before, but also not too much light. LED light, as I said, for a greenhouse would defeat the purpose a little bit. But if it's not possible a different way, that might be a way to go. And then also we want to simulate a day-night cycle, so the plant can also, grow at night and breathe. And we have obviously gravity issues, so we need to find a way, perhaps through centrifugation of the spacecraft, to create a gravity environment for the plant, so that the roots can grow and so on. Or we have to find another way. Maybe we have to build a new plant, or genetically modify a plant that it can actually naturally grow in space.
What about the radiation shielding? How can we achieve that?
There are a couple possible ways, but let's assume under our design criteria that we want a greenhouse, meaning that we actually want the sunlight from the outside. A possible way could be to have a double glazing that is filled with water. So the water could provide the radiation shielding from the from the radioactivity, from the cosmic radiation, and still let sunlight pass through, which could then reach the plants to grow.
What about the water in space? How do we get the water up there?
Well, I mean, obviously we have to launch it, but even more so, to irrigate the plants, we are still in microgravity, so you can't just spray the mist and then hope that the mist will reach the plants. Obviously, the droplets would fly around. You have to mitigate that. So maybe an irrigation system from directly providing the roots with water with a tube system might be more preferable, for example. So the water is, I mean, we're still in an environment where we have no gravity available, which at the same time is also a benefit if you really think of it. If we figure out to do that, we could build a greenhouse pretty much around any planet or any celestial body. Whereas if we want to build or grow plants on different planets, they need to survive in the different gravity environment as well.
So after talking about all the challenges, what are the benefit of having a greenhouse in space?
Well, with every challenge comes a solution if we solve it. And with every solution comes a number of benefits and technologies that we can extract to tackle everyday problems on Earth, but also for thinking of going to other planets. So let's start with one benefit. Let's say we have a greenhouse around Moon. Moon itself has a day-night cycle of 14 Earth days, that means we have also 14 Earth days of night, which means if we would grow anything on the surface, we would come up with a solution to provide the energy for lighting or shield the plants from the cold and harsh environment so that they don't die overnight. Having a greenhouse in orbit, for example, on Gateway, would mean that we can provide sunlight at any time as we want, and we can control the day-night cycle for the plants and how long and how much sunlight they actually get. The next thing would be, because a spacecraft is very confined in space, that means we every gram, every volume we produce matters. Therefore, we want to have plants that are edible and usable for every little fiber they are producing, not just the fruit, but also the leaves and the stem and the roots, which then also in return would mean that we can build plants that are beneficial on Earth, where we have also maybe limited resources, such as in the Sahara Desert, or if we want to go to Mars. The other thing also, speaking of Mars, two things. First one is learning about how we can grow things in space. Speaking like Yoda. Means we can use that knowledge to terraform other planets and make them actually more habitable for us, and probably build an atmosphere at some point, but also at the same time something that can grow in orbit means we can pretty much bring it anywhere with us. That means we can, any planet we want to settle on, we could populate it first with a number of greenhouses in orbit that can then provide food for anybody who's then on the surface. This obvious advantage is bringing something from Earth takes a long time, and also food could spoil over that time. If you have it right on the doorstep, it's locally grown, so to say, then it makes more sense. It's like on Earth as well with many things. And also for space travel itself, having a greenhouse in orbit would mean we might potentially also have a greenhouse that can travel with us in a spacecraft, which would mean we could provide astronauts that are traveling with fresh food on the way as well.
And now we'd like to know from you, what do you think are the benefits of having a greenhouse in space? Just leave us a comment. And if you like that episode, please don't forget to leave a like. And subscribe if you haven't already.
And if you want to grow this little finger onto the notification bell, then you will never miss out on a new episode anymore. Also, we invite you to watch older episodes. We have already a large catalog of interesting topics for you.
And I hope I will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.